Mr. Kunkel.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Palmer.
Seems like a good day to continue our last podcast, which was
Sure.
only part one. Now we're going to do part two. Let's do that.
It sounds good to me.
And the subject really is the ever-changing, ever-morphing liberal viewpoints, what they used to say, what they used to believe, and what do they believe now on the same subjects. And what actually, sometimes it's just a word. Sometimes they just like completely change the meaning of a word.
Well, that's a whole nother podcast.
I know.
They've changed a lot of words.
And I love that. I love going back and pointing that out, that they're.
But they used to have a bunch of beliefs that were somewhat libertarian and free thinking and all that, but they've gotten to be little fascists and little tyrants, and we want to point some of that out.
And let's face it, when we're talking about the mayoral election coming up in New York, we're talking about a little communist too.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just Democrat socialists. It's bullshit because he changes his view and his positions on lots of things involving police and expenditures and all that.
Oh yeah.
All the time. This is a real big fear for the rest of the country, or it should be. So let's talk about all these things.
All right. So we went through four of them. So we'll start with the one we didn't get to last time.
We have such big aspirations. We come up with a list of 8 or 9, and then
seven left. So
and then we just sort of like chat.
Oh yeah, we get off on a tangent. But the left used to really believe, or at least they stated, they believed in free speech.
Right.
All viewpoints are valid.
Yeah.
Open discussion is good and healthy. But that has since changed.
Well, since when? I mean, I don't remember them saying that.
Yeah, they used to say that. I mean, it used to be on both sides. It's like, I may not agree with you, but I'll defend to the death your right to say it. Both sides believed that, and they would say that. But boy, it's been just terrible, especially with social media.
Yeah.
They are shutting down alternative viewpoints from what the party line is.
Right.
I mean, they will shut you down. This happened very explicitly during COVID.
Right.
When there were people who were like, I don't know if I trust this thing. I think it was a lab leak, not a pangolin having sex with a cat kind of thing. And,
Right.
It's the wet market. It's like, well, I'm looking at this map on Google Maps, and there's this Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan. And so they shut all that down, and they shut down even doctors who had an alternative.
I'm actually surprised that you could find that on Google Maps during that period.
Oh, I know. I'm surprised they didn't censor that too. Really. But any speech that they like is amplified by the Mockingbird media, and and a lot of it's false. And they'll gaslight you. They'll keep repeating things over and over and lying by omission and things like that. Like one of the things that is coming up now, because they're saying that Trump is a king and he's weaponizing the DOJ. They're acting like that wasn't done for 4 years under Biden when he weaponized the DOJ. I mean, completely weaponized the DOJ with Merrick Garland going after Trump and going after his attorneys when they were doing the lawfare against him. Right. And just ridiculous stuff like that. They're acting like, well, Trump is weaponizing the DOJ, and do you want us to do that if we get in power? It's like, you already did it.
Exactly.
And they're acting like it didn't happen. And Trump is not weaponizing the DOJ. He is going after, his DOJ is going after people who actually broke the law. They're not making stuff up like
Tish.
Like Tish and Twinkies. What's the fat guy?
Are you talking about Porky Pritzker?
No. There was an attorney, big fat guy, who was going after Trump, or one of the 3 major lawsuits.
Oh, you're talking about the
lawsuits
District Attorney of New York.
Yeah.
God, what is his name? We forget him so fast.
I know.
Because he's so useless, and really we have no reason to even consider him.
I mean, that was definitely weaponizing the DOJ to go after Trump and his attorneys, too. Right. They were going after everybody, so people would be afraid to represent and defend Trump in court. And, they completely forget that. They gaslight you. And it's still not as free a speech as it should be, because the left has their hands all over social media. Right. Except for, certain companies like Telegram and to some degree Rumble.
Let me just go back to this thing with, our buddy Tish.
Yeah.
She broke the law.
Yes.
I mean, the last thing that we can have in our society whether you call it a democracy or a republic,
well, it is a republic.
It is a republic, but what do you call it? You know, I mean, the Democrats always they don't refer to it as a republic. They don't acknowledge that it is. But Tish, she just went after something. She made something up, which is the worst kind of law practice that you can have. And the people who wrote the Constitution, Madison and Jefferson in particular, were crazy. We should, let people go more times if there's a doubt, then we should put them in jail.
Right.
I think that her actions against Trump fall directly into that category. She made stuff up.
Yes.
She created a bunch of things that she could turn into a law that was like not even worth pursuing because he didn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, did he misstate the value of Mar-a-Lago? Well, how is that the New York Attorney General's business? Number one,
not.
It would be the Florida Attorney General's or the DOJ, but neither one of them thought it was wrong.
And then the lenders were very happy with the way things turned out.
It had been paid off.
They got paid back on time.
Right.
And got all the interest that they had agreed to in the contract. And they're like, oh, we do business with Trump again. And Trump is not the one who valued it. When they're giving out a loan,
of course,
to especially one that big, they have their own assessors come down and assess the property. And if anything, it was assessed lower than what it's worth.
As a former realtor, one of the things that goes into the contract every time is you are responsible for determining this yourself. I'm not responsible for telling you the value, and the seller isn't responsible. You have to determine that this property is worth buying at the price that you're paying. And that's the law. That's how it's written everywhere.
Right.
Yeah. So
I thought of the fact guy, Alvin Bragg. He's the one who took 34 potential misdemeanors that had already expired as far as the statute of limitations go.
What a moron he is.
And bundled them together to make a felony. And that had, they have to say, okay, this was a misdemeanor, but it was used to further or cover up a felony.
Right.
They never said what that felony was. They just well,
isn't that interesting?
These misdemeanors were done to cover up a felony. It was part of a plan.
I think it was just would sneak the word felony in there.
Yeah, somehow. And they turned these 34 possible misdemeanors into a felony. And Alvin Bragg, big fatty, was known for pleading cases down from felonies to misdemeanors.
If you're black.
Yeah, this is the only one he took, and it had expired. They changed the law of the state of New York temporarily just to go after Trump. That's not weaponizing the DOJ. You got to be kidding me. And they
but it's not the DOJ because he doesn't work for these. He works for the state of New York.
Yes, but there was a guy in the federal. He had a higher position in the
Smith.
DOJ. He left and went to
Jack Smith.
lower position, which you wouldn't do, just to help Alvin Bragg pursue this fake crime.
Thank you, President Biden, for that little lend.
So, this whole thing about free speech, you don't get free speech if you're conservative. But, boy, if you're a lefty, you can say whatever you want. They say horrific things, and they never apologize.
Or prosecute horrendous
things. It's unbelievable. So, they used to agree with Republicans or conservatives that free speech is essential. Now, not so much. It's free speech for me, but not for thee.
Right.
And we're getting sick of it.
Yep.
Something's got to give.
And if we don't protect ourselves, it's going to happen to everybody.
Yes.
And of course, it's happening to her, Tish. I mean, she broke the law doing exactly the same thing that
she accused Trump of that Trump didn't actually do. But
when you sign for a loan, it says I'm going to live here because the bank can depend much better if you actually
interest rate if it's owner occupied
because they're more assured that you're going to keep up the value.
There's less risk if it's owner occupied, which she lied about.
Right.
And then the person that is occupying her house is one of her relatives who's a fugitive from the law. Yeah. So she is aiding and abetting a fugitive. So it just gets better and better all the time. It's just unbelievable. Oh, the other thing, this is ridiculous. And you've seen this a lot, not just here, but in other places where people are like, oh, I have to acknowledge before we get started, we're on stolen land from the indigenous peoples.
I know.
It's like, oh my God, shut up. If you really believe that, you would give your land back to the indigenous people, but you don't. You're just saying it as virtue signaling.
Right. You're exactly right.
It's unbelievable. It's like, if you really meant that, you would move out. Go back to your homeland, wherever it is.
And you and I were conversing the other day about the fact that the Indians themselves, of course, that's another stolen word.
Don't like that.
Right. That they would, use up the land, torture their enemies, and then move on to another place.
And enslave their enemies. Yeah, this whole thing about, they're living in balance with nature. It's like, nah. No, not really.
So much. Well, of course, it depended tribe to tribe, I'm sure.
Yeah, the other thing with this whole, if they really believe it's stolen land, that we're living on stolen land, why are they bringing in all these people from overseas, these third world people, and saying, come in here? It's like, if we're taking the land away from the rightful owners by being here,
and giving it to somebody else,
why would you bring more people in to take more land from these supposed rightful owners? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
No, I know.
Just completely ridiculous. So it's one of these virtue signaling things. Look how good a person I am. Look how wonderful and altruistic I am. But they don't mean it.
Right.
They're complete liars.
The next thing you have on your list is bullying.
Yes.
Which, if you watched the non-existent Antifa up in Portland, you'll realize that they are bullying every day, all the time. All the time. And it's somebody's direction, and somebody's paying for it.
Yes. And the Portland police are working with them because they're compromised, because the mayor and the city council are all a bunch of lefty goofballs, and the governor, they're just awful. I mean, that's a complete communist state, but yeah, they kept saying that.
Governor Rosie O'Donnell. Yeah.
There was a big push to stop any bullying online, and especially in schools and things like that. But you're not a bully if you're like a marginalized victim group. But if you're a white person and you say anything bad about a Truny goofball or whatever, man, they come down on you like a ton of bricks.
Don't you love the fact that at this point we are finding that the whole woke, I don't know if woke is dying as badly as the trans movement is, but apparently like 50% down from 2 years ago.
Yeah, because it was all AstroTurf. It wasn't like it's a victim Olympics.
So is all of woke.
Yeah,
wokedom.
Yeah, it was very popular to be trans because you are the ultimate victim at that point, because that was the pinnacle of the victim Olympics for a while. And now that Trump's in office, it's really not. I mean, it used to be being a victim was a sign of weakness, but now it empowers people because you can't be criticized if you're a victim and nothing's your fault. So of course people are going to gravitate toward that. And the ultimate victimhood was claiming that you were born in the wrong body, which is impossible. And it's just crazy.
When did you choose to be born in the wrong body?
Yeah, exactly.
Or your parents?
Oh, I know. It's just that there's two sexes. This whole thing is just nuts.
I want to go back and just mention something, a point that we made a long time ago on another podcast, far, far away, that it is the mothers who, like Charlize Theron, who has 3 woke trans children. Kids. And I mean, how is that possible?
It's not possible
without the insanity of the mother.
Oh yeah, it's impossible. I mean, the statistical. Well, first of all, it's not a thing.
No,
it's just it's a mental condition called gender dysphoria, which maybe a lot of kids go through because growing up is weird, and especially when you start hitting puberty and your body's doing all crazy stuff, and instead of girls being gross with cooties, now you're really you want to be around them all the time and see them naked and all that, but. Before that, it's like, girls are gross. And so you go through these changes, and it's confusing. And if you get pushed in a certain direction by adults, that's the direction you're going to go, especially if you're rewarded for it.
And that's bullying.
And in the bullying too is, these Antifa BLM people, they're leftists who, leftists always say no bullying, but they're, like as you were saying, they're the biggest bullies. They're out in the street, physically accosting people, shooting people. I mean, they shot Charlie Kirk. That's the ultimate in bullying and the ultimate in we don't believe in free speech, because Charlie Kirk was at college campuses to have respectful debates with people and try to win the hearts and minds of these young people who never hear the conservative and or Christian point of view on their college campuses because, for the most part, the professors are a bunch of lefty goofballs.
Like 98%.
Yeah, 98%. And they're never going to hear the conservative viewpoint. And if they do, it's a bastardization of it, like the news always puts on when they're like, oh, remember Stephen Colbert when he was pretending to be conservative?
Right.
And it was just a stereotypical, what the lefties think we are versus what we really are.
Right.
And there were people who actually bought into that. Like,
right.
One of my wife's friends, is like, oh, I listen to both sides. I listen to Colbert too. It's like, he's just doing a shtick. That's not the conservative viewpoint.
Critical thinking is essential when listening.
Oh my God! And I couldn't. College-educated person. Yeah, Colbert. He's conservative. You're not very smart, are you?
No. The other day, Dana Perino made a great comment, and it bears repeating every day. She says, listening is a superpower.
What? I wasn't listening.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
No, on this whole bullying thing, and this is maybe tangential to what we're talking about, but you probably remember the riots in Seattle when they took over that Chaz Chop,
of course,
autonomous zone.
Yes.
So these lefties, on Capitol Hill, these lefties, they don't like borders. They want open borders. They don't like guns. They don't like people checking IDs. So first thing they do when they take over this autonomous zone, they put barricades in the streets and sidewalks, and they establish borders. They have armed guards who are not qualified. These are idiots. I mean,
of course.
Yeah.
But they have a gun.
They have guns.
Right.
And a lot of the people weren't, this one rapper in Seattle had his car, and he had a bunch of AR-15s in the back. He's just handing them out to people, which is illegal. You can't give people a semi-automatic rifle or any gun without having them go through the ATF process where you call it in. And when you buy a gun, they call it in and like, hey, can this guy legally buy this? They check the records and make sure you're not some felon or somebody who has been, identified as a mental defective and shouldn't have a gun.
Which is a lot of the liberals.
Yeah.
Especially if they're up on Capitol Hill in the what do you call it, zone.
So this autonomous zone. So this guy's passing illegal. And everyone knew that this guy was like a local semi-celebrity rap guy, and he never got busted. And plus, there were at least two murders of black kids who were there. The Antifa people were like picking up the shell casings and not letting the cops come in, not letting the EMTs come in.
So there was no evidence.
So there was no evidence.
Right.
And no one got busted on this whole thing. So these are the biggest bullies. And they say, like I said, no borders, we don't like guns, and, you shouldn't check IDs for voting. Well, they check people's IDs to come into the autonomous zone.
Right.
Under armed guard. Unbelievable. So all the stuff they say they hate, they immediately did.
So here's the difference between a liberal owning a gun or their concept is you pass it out of the trunk. A conservative goes off and gets training and does fingerprinting and all the things that qualify you to own a weapon like this. So you can understand where the liberals have really no concept of what we're talking about gun ownership and protecting yourself because they're such idiots themselves.
Yeah. They don't understand the whole responsibility behind it, which we take seriously as conservatives, but they don't. Right. They're complete morons.
Yeah.
And I stand by that statement.
Well, good.
Yeah, and this is like tied into that. Fascists and Nazis are bad. And they still say that, but they act, Antifa and BLM and Occupy Wall Street, they behave exactly like the Nazi brown shirts. They're the street muscle, just like the brown shirts were for Hitler. And, before Hitler became Führer of Germany, when they were just, on the street, intimidating people and all that and handing out pamphlets. It's the same thing.
Exactly the same thing.
Antifa and BLM might be worse than them.
Weren't those guys, the brown shirts, weren't they responsible for Kristallnacht, where they went up to the church and smashed the windows? And,
synagogues and Jewish-owned businesses, they would identify them. They write Juden and put a Star of David on there, like with paint on the places. But, the leftists do the same darn thing. At least the brown shirts had they didn't wear masks and hide behind this.
They weren't afraid.
They weren't afraid. I don't think Antifa's afraid either, especially in places like Portland, because they know they're not going to get busted.
Right.
Based on never being busted.
Right.
And they're still not. I can't believe with Trump in power and reasonable people and them being declared a domestic terrorist group, they should be busting them on sight.
And there's a whole narrative that Antifa is it doesn't exist. It's just a thought process. It's just an idea.
It's just an idea with their own flag.
Yeah.
And international backing from billionaires like Soros.
Right.
It's unbelievable. And then you find out it wasn't even Soros's money. He was just it was USAID money.
Right. That he gets and then disperses in his name. Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's crazy. That's how these pallets of bricks show up, where they're going to have Antifa demonstrations, so they have something to throw at the cops. Just unbelievable stuff.
It's terrible.
Oh, and that ties into the whole thing. Remember, leftists used to say, "Don't trust billionaires," and absolutely do not allow them to influence politics. So let's get the billionaires out of politics.
Right.
Well, that's kind of stupid because everyone gets to have their say, but the only billionaires
not based on any wealth.
Not based on. You still can have an opinion if you're a billionaire, and you can use your wealth to push that to some degree.
And buy TV advertisements.
Yeah, but within the
and hire rioters
within the confines of the election process. I mean, you can't just. There's limitations to how much money you can give to candidates.
Right.
Although there's ways around that with PACs and super PACs and all that, but. That's a whole nother issue. But anyway, this whole thing about not trusting billionaires, it seems to only apply to people like Elon Musk, who's either conservative or just not liberal.
Right.
But man, Soros and Bill Gates, Reid Hoffman, who else? Bezos, Zuckerberg, Page and Brin from Google. These are billionaires too, and they're very influential in politics, but they never get any negative press. It's just, we need to have, Elon Musk needs to shut up because, he can't use his money to influence politics. Well, these guys, there's 10 lefties to one Elon Musk, and they're fine, but Elon Musk, he's the problem.
Yeah, no,
get him out of politics.
Right.
It's crazy. It's just complete
He
lunacy.
did make a mistake when he went off on Trump.
Yeah.
He did.
Well,
But that's not, this.
Yeah, hopefully they made up to some degree. I mean, they shook hands at Charlie Kirk's funeral.
Right.
Well, that was a positive step, but boy, I wish he was back in Doge.
Yeah.
Leading the charge on that.
I don't even know if there is a Doge anymore.
I think there still is, but it's just not getting the press it used to because they don't have that leader who's just so out there and popular.
And Big Balls just got slammed by the courts just by letting his attackers go.
Yeah, his attackers, the teens.
The teens, right.
Oh, what color were those teens? Oh, we're not saying. It's teens.
And there's a whole bunch of them that have never got arrested.
Oh, yeah. And so they're
not putting out their pictures.
Of course not.
No.
Because that would hurt the narrative.
Right.
But yeah, the ones who did get arrested, the judge, a black woman judge, let them off with
Biden appointee.
Yeah, Biden appointee let them off with probation. So it's like, just keep your nose clean for the next 2 days and you'll be fine. Jesus. Yeah, after beating the crap out of the guy.
Right. And badly. I mean, they really did.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if he would have had a weapon on him and tried to protect himself, he'd be the one in trouble.
Right.
Like Kyle Rittenhouse. I mean, they tried to throw that guy under the bus.
Well, and they did.
And they did. Thank God there was all that footage of him clearly protecting himself, self-defense.
Clearly not killing people as he walked down the street.
Yeah, if he wouldn't have had that rifle, they'd have shot. One guy threatened to kill him, that bald guy who turned out to be a pedophile and had just been released from jail. That's the first guy. And then, it's just unbelievable.
That is unbelievable.
The 3 people he shot were all complete pieces of garbage. So that guy, 3 for 3. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for you, Kyle.
Yeah. But we don't hear from him anymore, do we? He probably had his fill of politics and nonsense and retribution.
He just wants to be left alone. And I can't blame him because the lefties, they'll try to kill him if they had a chance.
Oh, yeah. So I'm sure he's in hiding somewhere.
because the lefties hate bullies.
Yeah.
Except they're going to try to kill the guy who just defended himself.
Right. Or anybody else that says anything that they don't agree with.
Exactly. Yeah. But we're not bullies. We hate bullies.
That's what Antifa is. Because everybody that isn't us is a fascist or...
Oh, yeah.
That's like...
People I don't agree with are fascists.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic. You keep that up. Oh, 2 more. We got believe all women. Remember that?
And everything they say.
Everything. If they make an accusation, don't even question it.
Right. Just put the guy in jail.
Yeah. Oh, that guy raped me. Oh, don't need to hear anymore. Put him in jail.
Right.
That only applies if it's a woman accusing a conservative. But Clinton had an accuser. What was her name?
Well, which one? Monica?
Oh, no, Monica, that was just workplace sexual harassment thing to an underling. But
no big deal. No,
Tanya Broderick was the one who Clinton raped. And then, he didn't he smack her in the lip and said, put some ice on that or something?
Oh, I never heard that story.
Yeah. But she credibly accused Clinton of raping her. And of course, you can't believe her. And then there's Tara Reid.
You can't believe her because she's a conservative. Had she been a liberal woman.
Well, because it didn't even matter if she's liberal. She could be liberal as long as you're accusing a liberal guy who's useful to the cause, like Bill Clinton.
Right.
No, you can't believe her. Believe all women except when they accuse a liberal. And then there's Tara Reid, who was a Biden staffer who credibly accused him of sexual assault.
Right.
She actually she had to leave and go to Russia because she was afraid the Biden crime syndicate was going to kill her. And you can't believe her. There's all these articles like in New York Times and stuff like that where they come up with these. I think I saw this article. There were 74 other staffers who's like, oh yeah, she's not credible. It's like, and what is that 74 staffers saying? That makes you think like those former intelligence officers, the 50 intelligence officers who lied about the Russian collusion.
Right.
It's just like that. They'll be found out to be liars eventually. Just like the intelligence officers.
But they can be used for their credibility at the moment. Until somebody actually fesses up.
Yep.
And it'll be believed. And it's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think, truth tellers have got to be honored.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing, too. This whole thing about it's not just women. They used to really, when Trump was in office for the first time, if there was a whistleblower of any kind, they'd believe them. Whistleblower against the Trump administration, any aspect of the Trump administration,
right.
They would totally believe that. Oh, we got to protect whistleblowers. You can't go after this person, blah, blah, blah. Boy, as soon as there was whistleblowers against the Biden administration, then their credibility gets run through the mud. They get prosecuted and fired and all that. There were some FBI whistleblowers, going after the Biden administration, and they got fired, almost got jailed.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm sure some of them did that we never saw.
Yeah, probably.
Under Ray.
Probably got disappeared.
Yeah. Ray was not a good guy. Sorry. Didn't mean to go off on that.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, but this kind of ties into no one is above the law. Didn't you hear that for 4 years?
Or more.
Yeah, when they were pursuing charges against Trump. No one's above the law. Trump and people in his cabinet. No one's above the law.
Until the Democrats are in charge.
Yeah. Well, no, when Democrats are in charge, no one's above the law because they only go after conservatives.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
But as soon as the conservatives are in charge, oh, no, you can't go after a former president. You can't go after Biden. You can't go after, what's his name, Merrick Garland.
What a creep.
Oh, my God. Just think if he'd have been appointed as a Supreme Court justice, which Obama tried to do.
They keep talking about how Trump is going after retribution. If he were, Merrick Garland would be in jail for life.
Yeah.
Because
or worse.
Right, or worse. What Biden did to everybody was so terrible, and we need to prosecute it because all of those things were false. They were false accusals.
Yes.
False accusals on anybody is unjust and terrible, and it's torturous. Yeah. People are in jail for life in some cases because of political circumstances, like Derek Chauvin.
Yeah.
The cop, when, what's his name?
Fentanyl Floyd.
Fentanyl
George Floyd.
Right.
Yeah, everyone knows.
But he's still in jail.
Yeah.
Why is he still in jail?
Because he was a sacrificial lamb to the woke cause of Fentanyl Floyd.
So it's a political background.
It's completely political, because the coroner's report came out and said that the pressure on the guy on Floyd's neck did not cause any damage, and he OD'd. He had all kinds of drugs in his system. He swallowed his stash as part of the deal.
Right.
And as you know, fentanyl doesn't take much to kill a person, and that's what killed him.
Right.
But it didn't matter. The facts don't matter.
And, well, here's the other fact. I can't breathe.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's had training in CPR and the Heimlich maneuver, which they don't call it that anymore. There was some political crap.
The Heimlich maneuver, they don't call it that?
Yeah, because someone else claimed they came up with it first.
Oh, jeez.
But it's like, it's still called the Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah, no kidding.
But anyway, they tell you don't perform the Heimlich maneuver if person says, I'm joking, or because if you can talk, you can breathe.
Right, exactly.
It's only when you can't breathe that you can actually, because there's a very good chance that if you're a big guy too and do the Heimlich maneuver, you can break a rib and possibly damage internal organs with that. If you have to do it multiple times with that broken rib there, because you might be panicking. Oh my gosh, I need to get that whatever out of the person's throat, and you really do it hard because you don't want to just squeeze and then any air that's
gone.
in there is gone. Then what are you going to do? If you push that air out without forcibly ejecting it, then the person's going to die for sure.
I told you I did the Heimlich maneuver on myself.
On the back of a chair?
On the kitchen island.
Yeah.
Because you got to do whatever you got to do, because I had a chocolate melting down my throat that wasn't melting fast enough. It was frozen, and I was a moron to eat it. And
oh man.
Terrible situation.
You panic.
Yeah, completely.
You're going to panic. But yeah, this whole no one is above the law. Well, think about that. Compare and contrast the January 6th people who truly were mostly peaceful protest. It was amped up by at least 275 FBI agents who were in the crowd and assets who were in the crowd there to just get everybody amped up and try to make it turn from a peaceful protest into a riot. It really never turned into a riot in the way that these Antifa and BLM protests turn into every time. But all those people were put in jail. So many, they went after people unbelievably hard. They were looking at phone records. It's like, oh, your phone GPS says you were here on January. You were near the Capitol, so we're going to arrest you.
Walked by.
You walked by. You were on the grounds. It's like, well, that's not a crime. And the other thing is the Capitol Police were letting people in, kind of waving them in to the building.
What was that guy, Ed, the CIA or FBI guy, Ed?
Ed the Fed, or no, what was his name? But he was a Fed. I can't think of his name now. Ray Epps.
Ray Epps,
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Fed Epps. Yeah, and there were, that was just one of many of these people inciting, trying to make it into a riot so they can say, oh, it's an insurrection. There was so much around that, but get back to the point of no one is above the law. So those people who did barely anything were gone after by the DOJ, hook and nail, going after them, trying to put them in jail, no due process. And they sat there in solitary confinement for months and years, actually.
Right.
And then so these BLM people who were getting busted for actually doing stuff like murders, vandalism, billions of dollars worth of damage. Kamala Harris was raising money to get them out of, and they were if they spent one night in jail, that was a lot.
Right.
And they were actually causing damage and murders and injuries and things like that.
This is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And everyone should take note of that on both levels, that they're not going to let up, and they should not. And we should not.
How long, some of these police stations in cities like Seattle and Portland have been under siege, every night, shooting fireworks and at the federal agents and the police officers. Just unbelievable. And you can't bust these people because the mayors and the city councils of these leftist cities support it. And so you're kind of screwed.
So there is an awareness in America among conservatives that we only have a limited time. Now, Trump is only in office for another 3 years.
Right.
But a lot of that time is going to be, well, of course, he's not running again, but the time will be stolen by people who are running for office.
Right.
And the attention to the details that Trump is having to deal with right now will be kind of lost in terms of the American sensitivity. And we just won't, it'll be obfuscated by the noise.
Right.
And there's a bunch of people who believe that if we don't take care of this nonsense now, all the people who are willfully being hired to riot and protest and just go out there with the signs and all that, people like Pritzker, people like the governor of California and Massachusetts and a whole bunch of those left-wing governors, these are bad people. They want to, it's not just about power, although a lot of it is about seizing Democrat power, and they hate the fact that they've lost it.
Right.
But the fact is that if we don't stop them, our country will be stolen from us.
Yes. They'll be emboldened if we don't stop them.
They are now.
Yeah.
By the noise. Mm-hmm. And there are people who are making, even conservative people. I was watching the Wall Street, whatever it is, on Sunday mornings. They had panelists who are supposedly conservative analysts, and they were saying that, oh yeah, this is retribution against Tish and against all these people that Trump is doing. It's not, and they're lying.
Tish actually broke the law.
But conservatives are going along with the noise because it's the popular thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
And it's surrounding us. And the louder these guys get, the louder Schumer gets. Yay, we're closing the government. Yay, us.
Oh, I know. They hated the government shutdowns when they were in power.
Right.
Or even the threat of a government shutdown. But now that they're on the outs, they're using it like a weapon.
Totally.
And, the reason they're doing it is because they want to have illegal aliens getting free medical care.
Yep.
Unbelievable. How is that helping the American people?
It's not.
It's crazy. Well, that was the end of our topics.
Okay,
We got through it.
I'm Russell Palmer.
I'm Doug Kunkel.
And we should talk, and we just did, and we want to continue the conversation. Let us know what you're thinking.